business analysts are needed even more in Agile projects. And this is because of the dependency on feedback, flexibility, and collaboration. Another key point to note is that the BA role transitions from a role into a skill set. So this means on an Agile project, you might not have a designated BA title, but you might be a part of the development team or the value team. Also, many of the traditional business analyst responsibilities are designated to the product owner or the customer in Agile projects. So what does that mean for the BA? Well, it means that you need to add value in any way you can. In order to do this, you need to be well-versed. So today, I'm going to be talking about the 6 core capabilities of an Agile business analyst. So let's jump to it. Capability number 1, situation analysis. In an Agile context, this involves knowing where we are today, understanding what needs to change, what the expected outcome is, and understanding how value is determined. This usually involves the following tasks. Analyze the current state. This involves identifying and communicating with key stakeholders in order to understand the need and to be sure that that need is defined. Then you want to get some context by collaborating with the product owner or the customer and other key stakeholders through means of observation or shadowing. Essentially, you want to make sure you have a clear understanding of the big picture and how this particular initiative impacts that big picture. The situation analysis also involves determining the vision. Business analysts may facilitate visioning exercises in order to develop a vision statement. And this involves identifying the goals and benefits, the scope, and the impact measures. From there, you want to continuously analyze new information to understand the impact of this vision. Then you want to brainstorm with the project team to analyze a range of possible solutions for that vision. From there, you want to use the impact metrics from the vision statement to identify the best overall approach. Essentially, you want to have a clear understanding of the expected impact of the initiative. Now let's talk about value stream mapping. Value stream mapping is a common technique that's used in both Agile and Lean practices in order to determine value added and non-value added activities in the overall stream. Now, the BA can facilitate a current and a future state value stream mapping exercise based on the information acquired from the previous steps. Key deliverables for the situation analysis for an Agile project will likely include the current and future state value stream maps in addition to a refined vision statement. Now, while the business analyst facilitates the vision statement, the product owner or the customer is essentially considered the author of the vision statement. Capability number 2, plan business analysis work. Business analyst activities in an Agile environment are typically planned to align with the team charter. Now, the team charter is a document that's created by the Agile team to determine the team's values, communication processes, commitments, and essentially how the Agile team will work together. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the Agile BA transitions from a role into a skill set. In most cases, the Agile team requires a T-shaped learning. T-shaped learning basically means that you have a in-depth knowledge of one domain and a high-level understanding of a broad range of skills. So for instance, as a BA, you might have an in-depth knowledge of BA skill sets, traditional BA skill sets such as requirements gathering, elicitation, and things of the like. But in an Agile environment, you may need to expand to be more involved in things like testing or maybe even some lightweight development, just as long as you have the required skill set to complete the required tasks. Agile business analysts utilize rolling wave planning. This is an iterative planning technique where activities and deliverables that are due in the near future are planned out in detail, while activities and deliverables that are further out are planned at a higher level and given less detail. This is usually facilitated through planning workshops. During initial planning, the project team may develop a high-level release plan, and this could be facilitated by the business analyst, the product owner, the team leader, or scrum master, depending on the framework. And then more detailed plans such as upcoming releases or iteration plans are developed closer towards delivery time. The BA may facilitate or be included in the development of the product roadmap. This is a strategic planning document that communicates the overall direction and progress towards the project vision. The document usually includes a vision statement, desired outcomes, themes, and high-level requirements. So key deliverables for business analysis planning for an Agile project includes the team charter, a high-level release plan, and the product roadmap. Now, the following capabilities are done in iterations, which basically means that you'll be doing these activities in smaller increments over and over until delivery of the project is complete. Capability number 3, gathering and eliciting requirements. Gathering requirements for Agile projects generally involves collecting the information that's been established in the vision statement and the product roadmap. Now, the product owner or the customer is initially responsible for communicating the requirements in the form of a product backlog. However, the business analyst is needed in order to refine that backlog so that it's suitable for further work. Eliciting requirements involves decomposing themes and features down into smaller stories that can be prioritized. Story decomposition can be facilitated through observation, interviews, workshops, or other collaborative methods. While elicitation is generally iterative, this is especially true in Agile projects. Agile BAs rely on continuous feedback and learning in order to ensure that the features, themes, and user stories are all communicated correctly. Business analysis and product information can be communicated through story mapping. This helps create a shared understanding of the workflow, the functionality, and also provides the ability to prioritize product delivery. Story mapping generally includes themes, features, stories, and their ranked priority. So key deliverables for gathering and eliciting requirements for an Agile project might include a product backlog that's decomposed into stories and a story map. Capability number 4, documenting and maintaining requirements. The initial documentation of Agile requirements may be the responsibility of the product owner or the customer, or the Agile business analyst, depending on the overall or selected framework in the organization. Agile specifies requirements through lightweight documentation. The most common approach to this is through user stories. Other widely adopted approaches are job stories and various types of product backlog items. Either of these approaches might be supplemented with some additional documentation, such as use cases, concept models, data models, process models, or prototypes and wireframes. Analyzing Agile requirements involves constantly learning and assessing new information and reprioritizing to ensure that the product backlog items that deliver the most value and the biggest impact are delivered sooner. Agile BAs and the product owner or the customer work hand in hand during these types of activities. A large amount of the business analyst contributions for an Agile project will involve backlog refinement. Verifying requirements involves ensuring that the delivery team has enough information about each story in order to perform work on it. This occurs through backlog refinement meetings. This involves ensuring that each story meets the invest criteria, has acceptance criteria, and also meets the team's definition of ready prior to being added to the next iteration. Business analysts ensure that the backlog is refined in preparation for the next planning workshop. Agile requirements also need to be validated. Test cases are usually facilitated through detailed acceptance criteria, which can be validated automatically through behavior-driven development or manually through user acceptance testing. Tracing requirements in Agile is a lightweight effort just to ensure that the stories trace back to the epics, features, and themes. Agile change requests and approvals are embedded in Agile practices through constant feedback and learning loops and adapting to new information by reprioritizing the backlog. Approval is assumed when the customer or the product owner allocates a specific story to an iteration for delivery. Key deliverables for documenting and maintaining Agile requirements include a backlog where higher priority items are decomposed and prioritized, in addition to any supplemental documentation that might help clarify that story. Capability number 5, supporting solution design and implementation. Story elaboration is the lowest level of story decomposition, and it facilitates design discussion as well as detailed acceptance criteria. So, an Agile BA may facilitate breaking down those stories into smaller pieces of work. As mentioned earlier, Agile BAs are typically cross functional or T shaped. So, the BA may be involved in testing or development functionalities as well as facilitating feedback loops with the customer. Agile BAs collaborate with the product owner or customer as well as the Agile team lead in order to facilitate the next iteration plan. Key deliverables for documenting and maintaining Agile requirements includes a refined backlog with elaborated stories and acceptance criteria, as well as an iteration plan. Capability number 6, monitor and evaluate the solution. Agile development delivers solutions in smaller increments, allowing for greater ability for the customer to identify whether or not the functionality delivered is meeting expectations and functioning properly. Solution evaluation can also occur prior to delivery in the form of reviews. Reviews allows the development team to elicit feedback and course correct prior to delivery. During the reviews, the Agile BA may be responsible for collecting the information or the changes that need to be required in order so they can be captured and reprioritized against the other requirements in the backlog. UAT, or user acceptance testing, can also happen in iterations. This will allow the product owner or end users to test out the product before implementation, and the Agile BA may be the point of contact for that. After a solution has been delivered to production, the Agile BA, in addition to other Agile team members, may be responsible for monitoring or collecting feedback from the customers. This is where we're looking for how much value is actually being created by the implementation of this product. The feedback that the team gets is used to adjust any of the in-progress work that's happening for any of the future initiatives or releases. Well, those are the 6 core capabilities that sum up the role of an Agile business analyst. If you found this information helpful, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the page for more business analysis mastery training. Also, if you're interested in more comprehensive business analysis training, be sure to check out the courses page at thebadoc.com/courses. Well, that's all for now. Have a productive and prosperous week. Until next time.